Hello, and welcome to the Cantina Chatter podcast. My name is Victoria, and I'm your host on this galactic adventure through all things Star Wars, film and television, toys, theme parks, video games, and more. All right, to help me talk the Bad Batch on this week's episode is none other than Dave. Jurassic Dave, how are you doing?
I'm doing all right. Victoria, how you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. I just got done working and looking forward to talking some Bad Batch because I haven't really had anybody to talk to about it lately.
Yeah, same here, yeah.
Yeah, so we're 4 episodes in, and it's been an interesting show. I think, some people thought it's going to be basically season 7 of Clone Wars, and some said, oh, it's just going to be following the Bad Batch and their misadventures. But it actually seems like it has a story that's going somewhere. And some people are excited about it. And, I think I'm one of those people. I've kind of been enjoying what we've seen so far.
Yeah, I'm definitely liking it a lot more than I did when they were on the Clone Wars so far. It's an interesting series. I'm really digging getting to see what happened right at the birth of the Empire. But yeah, it's growing on me. I'm not sure it was something that if you'd asked me what I wanted next, what I would have said Bad Batch, but it's here, and it's awesome to have Star Wars to talk about, especially on a weekly basis. That's the best part.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really nice to have weekly Star Wars again. We haven't had that since Mandalorian season 2, and that's been already, several months at this point. So it's really nice to have, like you said, weekly Star Wars, and just kind of get your fix on Star Wars. But yeah, I agree with you. You mentioned something interesting about how we're kind of getting to see the very beginnings of the Empire, because that's not really anything we've explored in TV or in film. Of course, in Revenge of the Sith, we kind of see where the Empire is declared, but we don't really see like the immediate impact of that. And we're seeing that in Bad Batch, and I think it's a pretty interesting take on that transition.
Yeah, I really am liking seeing about what happens with the clones. We spent 7 seasons with them in Clone Wars, and getting to see that turn on a dime, that change into the Empire and their mentality, seeing Tarkin take charge and kind of, come to Camino and stuff. I'm just really, as far as I know, I haven't seen anything about this time period. I don't read every comic or every book, so someone can come and tell me about some book or something that dealt with this time period. But, the live action and the animation, that really sort of trumps everything, even though they say it's all canon. So getting to see it acted out and live is a lot of fun. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I love that we have Tarkin again. I've always liked Tarkin, and we didn't get a lot of him in the original trilogy, obviously, but he got built up a little more in Clone Wars. He got fleshed out a little bit more in Rebels, and of course he was in Rogue One, and it's just neat to see what his role was, at the very beginning of the whole Empire. His involvement in that transition between Republic and Empire, because in Clone Wars, anybody that has seen that knows that he wasn't the biggest fan of like the Jedi, or he was always kind of he was in charge of that whole trial, wasn't he, with Ahsoka, and he kind of had it out for her, and seeing him kind of play that same role, but this time holding that animosity towards the clones is it's kind of a continuation of his character, but he's just applying it in a different way.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not sure there's much more to add there. Always love seeing him. He's a great character. And I'm sure when they made the original Star Wars, they weren't thinking about, 40 years on dealing with this guy. But it's great to see him, come back in Clone Wars, Rogue One, and now here in Bad Batch.
Yeah, totally. So one of the things I always wondered over the years is how things went from the clones being like the backbone of the Republic Army into stormtroopers being like the main troops in the Imperial Army. Like, how did that transition happen? And we've had over the years toys that kind of indicated that the stormtroopers were clones. I think even Lucas kind of said, I think he might have said at one point that some of the troopers were clones, but not all of them. And then, but now we're actually getting to see, how the very beginnings of that transition occur. And I guess it's just that, clones, from what it sounds like in the show, were too expensive. And maybe they could have some troops that were more loyal by having people that actually volunteer to be part of that Imperial Navy.
Yeah, I guess they're looking to cut corners somewhere. We've seen in the series that they need money for their vast expansion. They're giving everyone Imperial credits, if they turn in their Republic credits. So, it seems like maybe that's not going to be the best thing for the Empire down the long term, as poorly as the Stormtroopers are in the original trilogy. But, it's what they did, and it's fascinating to see that. I'm also really fascinated to see, I hope we get more of that. There was the small band that was with Crosshair, and seeing like actual more unscripted troops, more people that aren't clones. Because I feel like the Clone Wars did a really good job of addressing what it meant to be a clone and how to find your humanity when everybody's the same. So I'd like to see a little bit more of that conflict between clones and just regular unscripted people, and deal more with that, because I don't really want this series to be Clone Wars again, and I don't want them to dive back into some of the same themes that we have seen in Clone Wars.
Yeah, totally. No, that's interesting, because the clones, the whole idea of them was that they were not individuals, that they were all like one comprehensive force that, were soldiers. But then as we saw the Clone Wars unfold, we actually realized, oh, well, they do have, personal traits. They are, some of them have different hairstyles, some of them have facial hair. And their personalities are, in fact, a little bit different. And then, of course, with Bad Batch, we really see that emphasized because they're engineered a little bit differently, each one of them. But then with the Empire, it's kind of the reverse. They're individual people, but they're kind of like beat into this, soldier type thing where you don't see any of that individuality. At least we haven't seen it, at this point. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see that dynamic unfold and how the whole thing with the army of the Empire continues to be built up. Are they going to conscript more people? Are they going to have more volunteers? How's it going to shape up? So I'm really eager to see how that plays out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. From what we've seen so far, they're back to their white, or, the clone whites. I guess that's phase 3 armor or something,
yeah.
Right? I believe I heard that. But yeah, exactly what you said, that they are individuals, and you're teasing me with your, I don't have those yet.
Oh, man.
But yeah, what you said, perfect about, the individuality wrapped up in the white sanitary Empire form, or soon to be Empire.
Yeah, and I wonder how many of these elite clone troopers they are in. Like, are the elite clone troopers going to become the stormtroopers? Or, how's that going to happen? Or are they always just going to be like an elite like force, like behind like Crosshair or something like that? Mm-hmm. So yeah, and I kind of asked that, it's kind of silly, in part because I need to know how many of these elite troopers I need to buy. Yeah. Like, I think we've seen like 4 of them in the show, 4 or 5. I don't remember exactly. But yeah, I'm eager to see if there's going to be more and how that plays out. So yeah, that's a cool aspect of the show, the whole Empire military type thing. We've also learned a little bit more about the characters themselves, the Bad Batch characters themselves, haven't we?
Yeah, I think learning a lot more about them. I didn't really care for them in Clone Wars Season 7, but I'm growing a heart for them here, seeing the way that they interact, their brotherhood, especially seeing the way they all, when they come back home to Camino, when Crosshair has left, or I guess after they leave, right, and they come back to the ship, just seeing how he leaves a hole in the team. They were a cohesive team, and seeing how they work together. I'm enjoying that part of it. And I'm really enjoying Wrecker more than I thought I would. It was probably my least favorite character, but seeing the way that he interacts with Omega and seeing the heart that he has and stuff, I'm looking forward to seeing these characters grow more and more, and I have no doubt they will.
Right. And yeah, I would say that too. I've enjoyed Wrecker more than I anticipated I would. I like how they've kind of explained a little bit, why he's a little bit different from the other Bad Batch, why he's a little bit more, like, he's a little more emotionally stunted, I guess. He's a little more innocent. He's a little more, at times he can be immature, just like Omega. But they're really doing a good job of explaining that, I think, with little, bits here and there. Like, he has this little teddy bear, we'll call it. I think it was like a Loth cat or something. But just kind of, showing us, why he behaves like this. He's not just like obnoxious. There's like reasons, like he's engineered a little bit differently. And, so that's been kind of nice to see. Mm-hmm. What do you think of Omega?
I like her so far. I mean, I haven't dived too deeply into what, fans think that she is, but I'm assuming she's some sort of clone, maybe not, from Jango Fett descendants. I'm not sure, but I like her. And I myself had not thought that she might be Force sensitive, but I know that's a theory that's out there, that there may be a way to bring the Force into the show, which I always enjoy. I like it being balanced, having your Star Wars and the Force and everything. So if they bring that in, that would be great. If not, it's nice to see something without the Force or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I like her, and her voice doesn't really bother me or anything. And like Omega, the accent's funny.
Yeah, it is. No, I think she's cool. I like her so far. And I've seen that theory. I know there's a ton of theories on YouTube, all kinds of wacky theories about Omega. And I've seen that one about her maybe being Force sensitive. I think that perhaps she's... I mean, we saw her draw the gun on Crosshair in that initial episode, and she just whipped it out and like shot him. We saw her track the dragon creature in the second to last episode, and I kind of feel like she might be all of the qualities of the Bad Batch characters in one. Like she might have every unique trait that these other ones have within her. That's kind of where I think things are going, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm behind you there on that. That's what I think right from the beginning. And I believe that was the first long episode when she bested Crosshair. And, there's something up there. She's good at things just like the Bad Batch are.
Yeah. It'll be interesting. And it's, female clone. That's a new thing, too. So, well, it's interesting. I'm really eager to see how her story plays out and, where she ends up. We haven't really had a ton of classic characters. You mentioned Tarkin. Do you anticipate that we might see other familiar faces come back in the next few episodes?
I'm not sure. I mean, maybe if there's still, or if there is something at this point in the timeline between Boba Fett and Fennec Shand, possibly Boba Fett, a young version of him. And you got to think there's got to be, they're probably going to bring in the Force to it somehow. If it's not Omega, maybe they run across another Jedi. That there's always Ahsoka, Ezra, and Kanan is still out there. He was already in the show. So maybe I anticipate some of those things, but I hadn't really thought much farther beyond that. Maybe just some Force-sensitive Jedi beings, and maybe some of the other bounty hunters that we know from the original trilogy. Yeah.
I like how we saw Kanan. Like, that could have been any Jedi Padawan, and I would have been okay with that. I wouldn't have given it a second thought. But because it was Kanan, and, that was kind of cool. That was a good choice.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I didn't know what to expect from the show. And then it just drawing you in right there with a character that we're all familiar with. It really set the tone nicely for how the series started.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, it's been a lot of fun. So at this point in the show, we're 4 episodes in. And it looks like perhaps, Fennec Shand is still going to be after Omega and after the Bad Batch. And, they're still kind of trying to figure out where to go. Like, they're not part of, they're fugitives, basically. They're wanted men, and, they've kind of broken the law, and they're just going to kind of go do their own thing now, but they're still on the run. Where do you anticipate things might go with that? Like, in the next episode, where do you think they might end up?
I believe they're gonna have to look for help from other people. They've already come across what's his name? Cuts, is that his name? The clone that could cut in. Maybe they've come across Rex or something. I believe Rex was in the trailer, so maybe they come across some old friends, old clones that have defected, and probably running into a lot more of the underworld, like I just said about bounty hunters and things, and learn to have to live not with the Republic or the Empire, and to live on the run, like we see a lot of other characters like Mandalorian and stuff, live in the galaxy, the dirty life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think they will look for help. I think we'll see a few familiar faces at some point, and I think Rex, and I mean, I know some people want Ahsoka to come back. I don't know that that's necessary. I kind of feel like the Clone Wars wrapped up her story pretty well. as far as her being in animation goes. I guess I wouldn't be surprised, but I don't know that it's necessary at this point. But I wouldn't mind seeing other characters, other characters that would be on their side in some capacity. I mean, we know that, like you said, there's other Jedi out there. There are other, Rexes out there. So, yeah, I just hope that whoever it is that they bring in isn't just because, they're trying to make a connection, just for the sake of showing Ahsoka or showing, whoever. I just hope that whoever it is, it makes good sense for the story.
Yeah, definitely. I know you asked me the question, and that's my first reaction. I believe a lot of people's first reaction is just show me someone I know that I love, bring them in here. But there's a great opportunity to have brand new characters that we grow and love, because I really want to get a lot of new things from this series and not have it be Clone Wars season 8 or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm here eagerly awaiting the next episode, and I think we get 16 episodes total this season, so it's going to carry us through the summer. And it's maybe there'll be a tie into Book of Boba Fett too. Who knows? I mean, it's they're tying in everything these days, so somehow or another. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's great having the Disney Plus. It's not just Star Wars. It's got a lot of weekly content now that just keeps me mostly on Fridays getting up and seeing what it is I'm going to watch. If it's something Marvel, something Star Wars, and keep it coming. The summer's going to be great. Watching Bad Batch. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm all here for it. So bonus, we've gotten a few Black Series figures. We haven't gotten anything in the Vintage Collection, and I believe you collect both scales. Is that correct?
I don't do a whole lot of 3 3/4. I kind of stopped around the time of Force Awakens. I mainly do Black Series, but I did pick up some of the retro collection that I liked from Mandalorian.
Nice.
But yeah, mainly 6-inch, I would say. But yeah.
Very cool. What kind of cases do you have those in?
I have them just hanging on a window.
Oh,
they're
nice.
Just hanging on a peg or whatever.
Right on. So since you do collect Black Series, so far we've gotten these guys. We have Hunter, we have Crosshair, and we have the Elite Clone Trooper. I know that they've announced Omega to be coming, now I'm saying it Omega to be coming at some point down the line. Who else would you want to see in the Black Series if you could pick a few more characters to show up?
Fennec Shand, probably. Getting a younger version of her. I guess a Tarkin. Give me aliens. Give me some of the Kaminoans. I can't even say it.
Yes.
But yeah, we always get humanoids, 2 legs, 2 arms, looks like a man. So give us some aliens, something big, something small. That's what I would like to see.
Yeah, no, totally. I know they're building out the Bad Batch, over the next several months as well. So we're going to get all them. I think there's rumors we might get Crosshair, like in whatever his new outfit ends up being. And, I agree. Tarkin would be cool. And yeah, there's some pretty cool aliens in the series. The last episode, we actually saw a few in the marketplace, and that kind of stuck out to me because we didn't see a lot of those species. Like they were very specific, like from the Cantina, which I thought was awesome. But I'd love to see more of that. More things like that, and yeah. So as long as the figures make sense, let's have at them. I'll take whatever they want to throw our way, and it's not a lot lately, but we'll take what we get. So more.
Always better, yes.
Always better. And the Kaminoans, I agree. We've never had Kaminoans in the Black Series. So Tanwi, Lama Su, any of those characters, let's do them. Well, cool. Dave, any final thoughts you want to share? Anything else that you have you want to go over?
Oh, no, not really. Just I want to say this series, I'm looking forward, as I've been saying, for something new. I'm enjoyed to seeing, it's the familiar beats of Star Wars, like we've talked about before, about like found family. And again, this is another family found, with Omega finding the Bad Batch and all the clones with their special abilities and Clone Force 99. So, but yeah, just give me something new that I'm not expecting, like some new characters that I fall in love with, some new story beats. I think it's different enough. It's not as similar to Mandalorian, like I'm hearing people complain about, and it's not as similar to Clone Wars. So it has potential. It's on its way, but give me more and make me fall in love with it even more, because I'm having a lot of fun where we are right now.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I agree that the theme of found family is a huge thing in Star Wars, and that's absolutely the case here. with the Bad Batch themselves, but then also when you bring Omega into the mix and give her something that she hasn't had before, because obviously she's a clone and she's never had siblings, she's never really had parents, and it's obviously a different dynamic because they're all clones here, but they still have that relationship of her being a kid, them being grown up. So yeah, we'll see where that story goes. I'm really here for it. I'm looking forward to it. And I agree. Make it different. Make it something that's still, inherently Star Wars, but also takes things in a brand new direction. I think will be good.
Yeah. Well, we're here for it. It'll be a lot of fun.
Totally. Well, hey, Dave, it's been fun. Thanks for sharing your thoughts on Bad Batch. And, we're 4 episodes in. So another 4, let's bring back this little segment, and we'll talk about things and see where they're at and where they're going.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me, and I'll see you every Friday morning. We'll be watching some Bad Batch on Disney+.
Yeah, awesome. All right, so it's been some time since we've talked about gaming here on Cantina Chatter. And naturally, of course, I have my gaming correspondent for Star Wars. Adam is back with us again to talk all things gaming. And I'm really excited to do this, Adam, because it's been some time since we said, hey, let's get another gaming segment onto the show and let's talk some games, because there's quite a bit that's come out, and there's more coming out, right? From Lucas. Is it LucasArts, or is it who's doing them these days? I don't even know.
Well, that's the most crucial thing that's happened within. I was going to say the last 4 months, but it feels like 4 months is actually more like 5 or 6 months now. Back in January, we were treated to a new rebrand of the gaming side of Lucasfilm, which is now known as Lucasfilm Games. Basically ending the basically introducing a new era into the gaming side of it. So we've had, since the Disney ownership, we've had a big collaboration with EA Games with any games that have come out in both console and mobile. So now they are expanding. They're opening up to new developers to sort of have their hand in as well. And Lucasfilm Games is basically the big brand, the branding that sort of umbrellas everything that they're planning on at the moment.
Okay, because it was EB game. It was EA, wasn't it, for some time? Yeah.
Indeed, yeah. They have like exclusivity, more or less.
Yeah. So from the chatter I've seen online, I know some people are cool with this, some are not. Some say, hey, well, they've had it, let them keep building on what they've been doing the last several years. And some are like, well, you know what, gaming hasn't been fantastic under, at least the ones that EA has been doing. So, give it back to Lucasfilm. Things are great 20 years ago under LucasArts. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, there is an argument for the glory days of LucasArts, as you say. When LucasArts was strong in the 90s and the 2000s, up until the late 2000s, we got a huge variety of games from Star Wars mainly. We got the original Battlefronts, we got games like Star Wars Bounty Hunter, and of course, even though I didn't play them myself, we got the infamous Knights of the Old Republic games, which is very big on people's very high on Star Wars gamers lists.
Yes.
But on the other side of that as well, what we started with EA seemed very constrictive to begin with. It seemed like it was they were very defensive of what they had from Lucasfilm, and it's like, we shall let nobody else but us do have control over the gaming side.
Yeah.
Especially when EA has had kind of a reputation for, shall we say, having licenses in the past and not living up to fans' expectations, I think is the polite way of saying it. For me in particular, that goes for licenses like 007. But since the controversy surrounding Battlefront 2, Star Wars Battlefront 2 and the microtransactions
Mm.
debacle, it seemed like EA started to listen to what the fans were calling out for, and since then we've had more collaborate. They've had more collaborations with actual production studios, like Frontier Games for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and that has been such a smash hit, critically, uh, financially. It's been a big success, and it just goes to show what can happen when you have more than one groups of people on a project rather than just one set of people controlling the whole thing.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, no, that makes sense. I know that a few years ago that was a big thing with EA and the microtransactions and um yeah, I mean, I'm not a heavy gamer of any kind. Like I'm really bad at starting games and just never finishing them. Like there are so
Oh,
many games that I've sat down maybe like two or three times and played like the first little bit and then I just don't. I'm still finishing Fallen Order. I finally picked that back up again. So
hooray!
I'm still working on that. I'm currently on Dathomir doing all kinds of fun stuff with the Knight
Oh, nice.
brothers and yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, so that's been fun. But yeah, I remember the glory days of the early 2000s, Knights of the Old Republic, the Battlefront games, Republic Commando, and this I played all of
Oh,
those. I did play all those, and Battlefront 2, the original Battlefront 2 was like one of my favorite things ever. Just like it had a campaign, it had that assault mode where you could bring all the different characters and like fight against
oh,
all
of
of
course,
them.
yeah,
Yeah, all that stuff was great.
yeah,
And I've done I have played through the near Battlefront games. Battlefront 2 of course had a campaign and it was fun, it was enjoyable. And but yeah, it for me it was fun and it looked great. I mean, obviously it looks so much better than, the old one, but I don't know, just something about that old one just had, I don't know, it was more, and maybe a part of it's just my nostalgia speaking at this point, but part of it for me was just like more, I don't know, it was more Star Warsy, if that makes sense. It was more
yeah.
intriguing, and maybe it's because it was pretty revolutionary for that time period. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, I mean, wherever things go, I feel like I don't really know enough to say one way or the other. LucasArts, EA, or however it pans out.
yeah. Well, just going off the back of the Battlefront as well, like the first those pandemic Battlefront games. I'm sure it was pandemic. I should really know that, but um, the those two games I absolutely loved and adored as well. The first Battlefront was like the only ever video game disc that I actually played until it stopped physically working, and the second one, because I'm more of a PlayStation person than an Xbox person, I was kind of a little bit frustrated that it was one of the first games to really introduce new downloadable content, and
Hmm.
but it was for Xbox. So you had a Sarge Ventress, Kit Fisto, and a new map or two that was introduced for just the Xbox players, and it's like, oh, you had to do that. But
Right.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely loved them. They had the, and I was so impatiently waiting for Battlefront 3 as well, and but of course that never came to fruition.
Yeah, I know. I think it was just like was it like was it PSP or Nintendo DS or something where they did make like a version of Battlefront 3 on it?
Yeah, yeah, they did do an extra one for the handheld. I think it was called
Yeah,
Renegade Squadron. I'm not sure on that.
maybe.
Something like that.
I didn't have I don't remember which, it might have been PSP. I didn't have that though, so I was just like, okay, well, I don't have one of those, so I'm not gonna buy it, just to play the game.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so what's on the horizon at this point in terms of games, things that are coming that they've announced?
Well, sticking with Lucasfilm games, we have at least two, for me, very prominent projects which are kind of exciting. The first one I'd like to mention is called Star Wars Hunters.
Hmm.
We've had a trailer for this. We've had a teaser trailer, and it's basically a galactic, an competitive arena battle game and that kind of tells you what it's going for, but it's also kind of vague as well,
Mm-hmm.
because the first impression is that, oh, it's a fighting game, a bit like a Tekken or Mortal Kombat, but it's more, but it sounds like it's going for a more gladiatorial arena kind of vibe,
Huh.
coming from the press release as well. Um, and yeah, it's going to be released for app stores, so it's to be played on mobile devices, but it's also going to be released for the Nintendo Switch as well,
Okay.
which is which is very curious, but it also shows how far like gaming has come. We've got a mainline game that's crossing the streams between mobile and console, and with the advent of games like Among Us, which have also done that sort of thing, it shows you that Lucasfilm are dipping their toe into that sort of
Hmm. Interesting.
technology as well. The other game, which is currently untitled, which I'm very, very, very interested in, is a game that is going to be developed by Ubisoft, and if people who know me, they'll know that I will get very excited about that, because one of my favorite gaming franchises is Assassin's Creed, which is made by Ubisoft. So the only details we have about this Star Wars game from Ubisoft is that it's an open world story driven game. So that can be likened to any of the Assassin's Creed games, but it also can be likened to other games like Red Dead Redemption. These big kind of single player, explore the world at your own pace games, which have always done well. Well, always done well. They've done well, in recent years at least.
Yeah.
And yeah, it feels like at the moment, because we have very little information, just imagination's going all over the place. So I'm very excited about the potential at the moment. Because with open world game, always exciting. Well, for someone like me to just explore and just go at my own pace, mill around, just see what details are put into the world. But of course, with a Star Wars game, the world can be plural, so you can have many worlds to explore.
Yeah.
Of course, and across many different worlds that have come from many different eras. Of course, we don't details are so sparse that we don't actually. I don't think we really know what era this open world game is going to be set in either. And honestly, I'm not actually that bothered about which era it's going to be set in.
Mhm.
We recently had Star Wars Squadrons, which brings back a bit of the glory days of the
Mm.
fighter simulation, and that's set during the Galactic Civil War,
Yeah,
which
I
is
bought that.
yeah,
I did buy that one too. And again, I only played it one time. I'm so embarrassed to say I'm bad about these things. And it's not because, I hate it or, it just I buy these with good intentions. I intend to sit down
yeah.
and play through a game and finish it eventually. But I just, it's just I'm not a huge gamer. Like I get distracted by toys and, making videos and
It's understandable. It's
yeah.
understandable. But I sort of have that with games as well, but on a really weird mental level, as it like I want to save you this game as much as I can, so I'll just play a bit of it and then maybe play around with something else, and then before I know it, a year or two has passed before I get back to the game, and then I have to relearn everything, how to play it basically.
Yeah. Yeah, right on.
Yeah, so that happens quite a bit. Um, but yeah, Star Wars Hunters and the currently untitled Ubisoft game. Those are the two like big ones from the Lucasfilm Games banner that I'm excited for. But
Nice.
there is one other game that's following a tradition that's been happening since 2005 with
Hmm.
TT Games, which is Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, and I am really excited about this one. And I've only just got back into the swing of Lego Star Wars with the Force Awakens game that came out in 2016.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so I've been a fan of these games from the beginning, um, and it's just always exciting to see what else they come up with. But the Skywalker Saga is set to branch, of course, all 9 films, but
Yes.
redone in a way that it doesn't retread familiar ground that we've had in previous games. I.e., you won't play the same levels or rebuilt of those previous levels.
Hmm.
We will play them in a completely different way,
That's
or at
interesting.
least the levels that we have played, or the stories that we have played already.
Right on. And
Yeah,
there's a lot of or I haven't actually done it, but I've seen like I've been hearing about like virtual type gamings or the the mask and everything that I know like if you go to like and they're not doing it right now, but before the pandemic, like
yeah,
at Disneyland they had like this big thing where outside of the park you could try this like virtual reality thing with the lightsaber and I think it was a
yeah.
Darth Vader game or something.
Yes, that was Vader Immortal. That was released for,
That's the one.
I think it's Oculus. I think it's Oculus Quest. Yeah, they've making big leaps into virtual reality, like the whole ILM X Lab um, subsidiary, which has been diving into that. Vader Immortal, if I remember, these are something I haven't even begun to touch because I don't
Mm.
have any virtual reality systems. So I'm going by what I have learned from others. So yeah, Vader Immortal was definitely it was a story-driven, like 3 parts thing, and it recently went on sale as part of the May the Fourth celebrations as well,
Hmm.
as if I remember right. And yeah, they've done like other test things, as it were, something so people can start to interact with them and sort of get an idea, a feel for how these things work. There was one, the one I remember in particular is the one where you're helping Han Solo and the Millennium Falcon, uh, and you're fending off a group of either mercenaries or people who are demanding his money. You know, the usual stuff for Han Solo,
Right.
and and you're helping fend them off whilst he gets the Falcon ready to set off, and it's like a 10-minute, 15-minute thing. I did see someone play through that, who was absolutely hilarious with it because he said, "Oh, this thing is going to do this thing and that thing anyway, so I'm just going to bash everything in the real world and just see what reacts and whatever." So
Yeah.
yeah, so there were yeah, so VR has been a big thing. Um, I'm not memories not serving me right. If if they have announced something else at the time being, I'm sure they are doing, but I can't remember if they have announced that they're specifically doing anything yet,
Uh-huh.
as well with the
Right on. Yeah, no, all that stuff looks cool. I mean, again, I don't know that I'm not the kind of person that would go out and buy like a virtual like headset, but I did
yeah.
try it. I was in Japan in 2017 and I just thought, come on, the virtual reality can't be that great, right? It can't be like anything too remarkable. And so I go into this little shop and this is in like Tokyo, like right in the middle of
Yeah,
like where they have all this, the technology and the games and everything. So they I think it's called Akihabara is the area of Tokyo. And they gave me this headset and they put it on and it's just dark and I'm like, okay. And it's like heavy and I'm like not very comfortable. And then the game starts, it's just like a sample of the game. And I don't even remember what game it was, but it was like so realistic. Like
yeah.
I went from thinking like, virtual reality can't be that realistic, can't be that great to like, whoa, like I was really like impacted by it. Like there was a part in the little snippet I did play where I was being like pushed like off of a ledge, right? Like off of a cliff. And I was like legitimately starting to like feel around so that I
Trying to
wouldn't
grab something.
fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really impactful. I was really surprised.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? When you hear these buzzwords from things like virtual reality being thrown around, like immersion and what have you, it doesn't really mean much until you actually experience it, and then it's like, oh, this is what this buzzword means. It does
Mm,
actually have some meaning behind it.
yeah, yeah, totally. No, it was, yeah, it's cool stuff. I mean, the technology has just really come a long way. So it's really interesting to see how they keep, building upon, these different types of platforms. And
Mm.
I think you had mentioned to me there's another Lego game coming soon too, right?
Aside from the Skywalker Saga.
Is that the one? I thought you had mentioned there was a new Star Wars Lego coming. Maybe I misread.
Oh right, okay. Yeah,
Mm.
the Skywalker Saga is the one that's coming out this year. Finally, this year. It was supposed to come out last year, but of course, 2020 happened.
Well, Adam, do you have any final thoughts you wanna touch on here regarding games or any of these types of topics?
Mm, oh, this is where I have to ready for something.
You could say, Victoria, you need to finish Fallen Order.
Oh yes. By the way, there is something. Victoria, you will need to finish Fallen Order.
Ooh, okay. Good
Yes.
advice. Good advice.
I mean,
Well, cool. Adam, but it's been a great chat. Thanks for updating us with games. And where can our listeners go to look you up online?
oh, promotion. Well, I have a Twitter, Swift Agent 24. I'm also on a video looping app called Byte at Adamus Prime. And I've also recently joined Twitch as well. If you find me, it's Adamus Prime 24.
All right, Adam, take care. Thank you. And may the force be with you.
May the force be with you too.
Thank you. In this next segment, we're going to be talking a little collecting. We like talking about collecting, talking about toys, talking about Star Wars toys, talking about figures, talking about exclusives, talking about rollouts. It's all good, isn't it, Tom?
No, no, absolutely not. The Target rollout with these Clone Wars exclusives is a mind-boggling mess. Those things went up for sale and then they disappeared. And once again, if you weren't there at 5 a.m. to be able to secure them, no one could get them. They're randomly showing up here and there. I saw it on Twitter. Someone posted like a Florida Target has a zillion of them. My one Target that carries them here in New York, I actually went to and was able to get my one Obi-Wan from there, but everything else was already gone. Boo exclusives. Boo. Boo on them, I say.
Yeah, it's interesting because these are the first exclusives in a long time where there was no pre-order.
Yeah.
And I remember during a Q&A, I think in early February with Hasbro, one of the questions was, what they were going to do to fix the pre-order system because, that's when Walmart was canceling all those pre-orders and it was a mess.
Yeah.
And I need to learn to stop slouching. I'm always slouching.
I know. I'm always slouching.
I'm like, So they said that one thing they might try to do is just not have a pre-order. And I thought at the time, it's not have a pre-order. And I thought they were referring to Walmart. So I feel like this might be an experiment of sorts regarding exclusives and, whether they can pull it off without a pre-order and just have stuff hit stores.
I mean, these just showed up a few days ago, right? It was over the weekend, I think.
Well, they started hitting like actual stores over the last couple of weeks. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I'm sitting here being all grumpy puss over the fact that I couldn't go into that Target that exact day and get them all. I'm also a grumpy puss because I live in Brooklyn, New York. There are in the New York City area. There's like the Atlantic Terminal Target in Brooklyn. There's a big one over in Queens. And then you've got them like up in the Bronx. And you've got these smaller ones in Manhattan, but if you look at, Target's website, it just says that those figures aren't sold in the stores there, which fits my experience with those stores. And, lots of people, when they go hunting for these exclusives at Walmarts or Targets, they get in their car and they hit a few Targets and Walmarts, right? That's not an option for me. It's about a 2-hour round trip to one Target.
Yeah.
So if you go there and there's nada, then it's like, well,
Yeah.
I have to rely on online these days. But okay, so that being said, I'm grumpy about not being able to get them all ready, but there's the distinct possibility these will just keep showing up in the stores, and eventually they'll end up showing up online. There's plenty of stock out there it's just coming. It's just because of the Masters of the Universe Rise of Evil 2-pack and all of the G.I. Joe classified Cobra Island stuff, all of that stuff not being available at all in Targets, I'm skeptical. Yeah.
Yeah, these just got announced. It was the May the 4th live stream. It was just, weeks ago. And there was no pre-order. I think a lot of people assumed these were going to be like July items. Like it was going to be a little bit till they released. But then
fall or next year, honestly, with the way announcements come. Yeah. So that was exciting. Like, oh my gosh, we can already get them. And I've got one now.
Yeah, and there was no release date. They just kind of went to stores, and stores received solid cases of each character. I think the on-shelf date, which wasn't a street date. I mean, street date is when the manufacturer says it can't be on shelf until this date. But the store, they often have reset dates where they go through the whole toy area and they move things around. And these did have like a reset date for this past Sunday. And that's when they went online as well. But they weren't register locked for like the week leading up to this. So a lot of stores had already sold out. So, I hit several stores last week looking for them. I got lucky. I happened upon Obi-Wan at my closest Target. And the lady was like, yeah, we just got one case and they were all the same character, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And she said, some guy just came before you and he bought them all. And, he just left one. And he wasn't supposed to do that, but, he asked for the manager and the manager let him do it. So that's always the risk. I mean, I like the idea of the solid cases.
Wait, hang on. At this Target, you said one guy went in and just bought all of them.
Except for one. Yeah, the one that I ended up with.
Except for one. So it wasn't kids and gift-giving parents that went in and bought all of them. Huh.
No, it wasn't grandma or grandpa. It wasn't aunt and uncle. It was, scalpers, serious collectors. It was that 80%. It was that 80% of the customers that when you cleaned them out.
Yeah. Huh. Okay.
But yeah, so I mean, I like the idea of the solid case packs. I think that it gives people a better chance to get them all, even if it's not immediate. At least, you're not going to go and miss the whole wave because somebody came and took the whole wave.
Right. Yeah. And we don't know yet what the amount of these things being shipped is. Again, my hesitancy about feeling too positive about it is the disaster of the G.I. Joe and the Rise of Evil 2-pack. Those things you just can't get. But I've got 2 Gamorrean guards. That was a Target exclusive. I can't remember what other Target exclusives there were. The Star Wars figures. Moloch, but you can probably still buy Moloch.
Poor Moloch.
Moloch's really neat, but we needed a Kessel Kira before we needed Moloch.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not enraged yet. Not full of my angry middle-aged collector angst yet, but we'll have to see. They're figures. I've got my Obi-Wan. He's up on my shelf behind me. He's absolutely fantastic. A friend scored me Anakin and Hawk. Going to mail those to me, so I'm excited about that. Mostly
Nice.
excited for Anakin because I think Hawk is an odd choice. I had to look him up to be like, who
Is he an oddball, would you say?
is Oddball? No, Oddball looks different, right?
Oddball's a different character, yes.
Right, yeah. Oddball is like an entirely different character. Hawk appeared in like one episode. Like, why not just Echo and Fives, guys? I'm so glad we got Echo. I'm so glad. I've wanted him for years, but just
Yeah.
Echo and Fives.
Oh, one version of Echo, we should say, right?
Yeah, the original version of Echo.
Yes.
Well, not the original. He went through costume changes, didn't he?
Sure.
Yeah, but yeah, ARC Trooper Echo. I'm very, very excited for him because he and Fives were the two that I really wanted for a long time.
Yeah, no, they did go up online. They, like you said, it was like midnight. Here it was like midnight. I think that they had gone up, and
Yeah.
I didn't see it until I was up late. I didn't see it until 1 a.m. because I was like editing a video.
I happened to look at my phone at 5:30 a.m. Eastern time. I woke up. Maybe I got a glass of water or something like that, and I checked my phone, and there's a message from you. Oh, it's Victoria. Oh, clickety clickety click.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was like, shoot, an hour. So I checked, and luckily they were still there. So pre-ordered, or not pre-ordered, ordered, because they weren't pre-orders. And so far I have Obi-Wan, the one I got, and then Hawk. I have those two so far. I haven't opened them. Waiting for the rest. And yeah, these are great. I mean, I know I always say it, but Clone Wars figures, I mean, we need more in Black Series. We need more in the Vintage Collection. Like, I'm all here for Clone Wars, like, figures. Yeah. Like, I love the other stuff, don't get me wrong. But I don't know. I'm still really into those.
Clone Wars was my favorite Star Wars after the original trilogy, and I think it's like these days it's the timeline I think that's the most interesting. After the recent set of stuff, I have no interest in anything really post Return of the Jedi. I'm good with the second Death Star blows up and the Emperor falls in the pit, and I'm like, all right, I'm good. But yeah, Clone Wars I absolutely love. And it overlaps with the prequels, but Clone Wars was more interesting than the prequels, I think. So give all of that stuff to me. Although, like, we've got Hondo, we've got Cad Bane, we've got season 7 Ahsoka. I'd love season 3 to 5 Ahsoka. I want a super battle droid that can be Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith and Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. Though I'll be honest, the Clone Wars design of the super battle droid was the better one. Like, rather than the movies. Sure. Like the half moon shaped, just hulking thing. Oh,
yeah,
so good. Cool. That was so good. Who else do we need from Clone Wars?
Well, we need, if we're talking Jedi, I mean, there's a whole slew of them, but again, those could be prequel or, we just got Ventress, which was like a huge one.
Yes.
We just got an awesome figure.
Yep.
Yeah, we have, the Mando version of Bo-Katan. Duchess Satine maybe would be interesting. I mean, I don't know that would be like a high demand figure, but they never did her in 3 3/4, so.
I'll never forgive you, Hasbro, for not giving me an animated style Duchess Satine. I get their logic. Probably wouldn't have been one of the biggest sellers, but man, what a great character and what great outfits she had. Yeah. I loved that.
Yeah, we got Cad Bane last year. That was a huge addition to the line.
Yep.
We have Dooku. He's awesome. Grievous. We have. Gotta look over at the shelf. We've got some good ones. Got some really good ones.
Need 5s.
We need 5s. We need. Let's see. We have Cody. We could always use more Commander Fox, maybe, or there's just several clones that they could. Wait.
The red one?
We did get him. We did get him. Yes. Yeah. We've gotten a good bit of Clone Wars. Like when you think about it.
Yeah.
But not like there's still quite a bit they could do. I always wanted Tara Sanoob, the Jedi Master Tara Sanoob.
Oh yeah, he was neat. Yeah, he was fun. That was a fun character.
Yeah.
I know people like excuse me. Oh gosh, Pong Krell. People really want Pong Krell.
Yeah, Pong Krell.
Yep. Man, what I want is Clone Wars Darth Maul. And I still maintain that that's going to show up as like San Diego Comic-Con exclusive in the box that they box him up in on Mandalore. I'm betting $5 on that, 5 whole bucks. And Savage Opress. We need Savage Opress. We got the Night Brother that's coming, which cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's from the game. Peppy Bo. I'm still.
Oh my God, is that Jar Jar's girlfriend?
Yes, I'm still supporting Peppy Bo. That's going to be my next big petition. Make Peppy Bo happen.
That'd be fantastic. I loved those episodes. Those episodes were great.
Yeah.
Because we've got Mace Windu, we've got Kit Fisto with that dreadful head. That dreadful head.
Mace Windu?
No, Kit Fisto.
Oh, Kit Fisto. Yeah.
They could re-release Kit Fisto with a new head.
Yeah, I mean that's what head does he have? He has
the Revenge of the Sith head where he looks like
uglier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder why they changed his design to begin with. It just isn't.
Probably lost the mask or something like that.
Yeah,
probably something goofy like that.
Yeah, they lost the mask. So somebody else went to work on the new one, and they close enough.
Yeah, I have no idea why. It was an odd choice, but because we've got Plo Koon now, he's the best of those Jedi.
Mm-hmm. Ayla
Secura. Oh, but she's coming.
In Black Series?
Yeah. Ayla Secura. Wait. Oh, no, Ayla Secura. I'm thinking of...
Aura Singh.
I'm thinking of Aura Singh, yep. Ayla Secura, Barriss Offee.
Same initials.
Yeah, and Luminara Unduli.
Luminara, yeah, that would be neat. I always liked her costume, and if you look at any of the 3 3/4 Luminaras, they're all like little works of art.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Going back to 2002, she's got the big billowy statue pose with the lightsaber, and she's like that, and her skirt's just it's really cool.
Yeah, that's the fun thing about the Jedi from Attack of the Clones. It was really sort of like the prequels version of the Cantina or Jabba's palace. In the prequels, you had the Jedi Council because there was so many different ones, and they all had kind of even though they're all pretty, they all have the same sort of outfits.
Yeah,
were similar outfits. Barriss and Luminara, outstanding because they have really unique outfits. But yeah, there's all that. It's your alien menagerie of the prequels,
right?
In the way that the Outlander Club, or. Well, no, the pod race was also sort of like that, wasn't it? That's what we need. We need Watto. We need Black Series Watto. Where's my Black Series Watto?
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before.
Certainly, yeah. I'll stop about Black Series Watto.
Yeah, we need Watto. Maybe they can give us a 2-pack with Watto and Kitster, because why not?
Yes, good old Kitster. No.
That's a wizard, Annie.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but no, these are neat. I really like these. I think they're all retooled. The one that I am a little concerned about is Anakin, because he reuses those dreadful legs from the previous 2 Anakins, and those figures are just so hard to stand. It's hard to get him to stay upright. So I'm kind of worried that because this is going to reuse the same gummy legs as the other ones, that he's just going to go. He's going to commit shelficide. I know he is.
Oh no, I haven't had a problem with my Anakins. Oddly enough, I must have just lucked out there. I'll tell you what about Obi-Wan, because he's clearly using some clone hands. Not a great grip on the lightsaber. It sort of hangs loosely in it.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I get a Clone Wars Obi-Wan, so I'm happy.
Yeah. No, he looks great. The likeness is just freaking amazing. But yeah, and he utilizes the lower half, and I think the arms of the newer Phase 2 clone that came out last year. But Hawk uses the older parts from the original Clone Trooper. The double bends in the elbows and knees. Oh
yeah, I love the double bends in the elbows and knees.
Yeah, I think from Commander Bly, the ones Commander Bly had. Yeah, I don't prefer those because, again, I I tend to have staining issues with those a little bit more. And you know, just having that double like ratcheted joint, like you got to get it just right for them to balance. I find like the newer sculpts are more forgiving because you know they're just on ball hinges and they're easier to work with. But you know, I guess they're just using whatever they have at their disposal, right? They're already using the newer parts on Obi-Wan, and I think Echo has mostly new parts, so you know it works for an exclusive like this. You know, I'm not too like mad about it or anything. It's just, you know, preferences.
Yeah. Speaking of exclusives, did you get you got 2 of your new Ghostbusters figures?
Yes, I do. I have them. It's the eye-popping ghost and fearsome flesh.
Fearsome flush toilet ghost. I can't believe they chose to re-release that.
Yeah, that's hilarious. They must have still had the mold somewhere, and you know, they're like, well, what do we have the molds? So these are like 35 years ago. What do we have the molds for? Fearsome flesh. That'll be a hit. Let's bring that back.
Man, what kid doesn't want a toilet that turns into a monster?
It's terrifying. You know, have you I'm sure you've probably seen Look Who's Talking To.
No.
Okay. Yeah, we're going back a ways, but yeah, Look Who's Talking To. There's a scene where you know, the kid's learning how to eat, how to become potty trained, and he's having a nightmare, and he goes into the bathroom, and the toilet's like talking to him, and he looks kind of similar to Fearsome Flesh. So,
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure we could YouTube that scene. It's funny. I'll look for it later, but yeah, it reminds me of that, and yeah, the Ecto one is still coming. It still shows August for mine. I hope it's not August, but I'm just glad this line's continuing. You know, I know we didn't start off, you know, seeking to talk Ghostbusters, but
all right.
But it's you know, there's not many outlets to talk about it. So yeah, I'm excited for the Ecto one because I haven't had an Ecto one in 30 some odd years, and I'm ready for it to come back.
Neither have I, and that's one since I'm, you know, doing the carded versions of these things. But I got a set of openers for the first batch. The fun thing about the Ecto one is that'll double for me because, you know, I'll have a nice pristine box that can display on a shelf like, oh, look, here's it is at the toy store, but I can take the thing out and I don't need to buy 2 of them.
Yeah, I bought 2 also.
Yes, of course you did.
Yes. So no, I'm excited for it. I remember my mother, you know, tangents. My mother went, I don't know where she got them. They were on markdown, and she came home with like 4 Ecto ones, and she's like, "Oh, look at all these Ecto." And we already had the Ecto one in the house. We already had the Ecto one, but she just had them on markdown. I guess she thought it was a good deal, and she's going to buy 4 more. And what she should have done is said, "Okay, here's a couple. The other half are going to go into, you know, the closet, and you're not going to see them for 30." She should have done that, you know. Yeah. But you know, us being crazy kids, we opened all 4 of them. And I don't even know where they are anymore. Just I know where parts of them are, but yeah. Imagine if she would have just put those in the closet on the top shelf and just held them there for 30 years,
rather than a bunch of dumb kids having fun with the toy instead.
Exactly right. Who does that? Darn kids. Yeah. So no, this is a cool release, and you know, I just hope the line continues. You know, if they want to release the Firehouse, I won't complain.
Oh boy. Well, I want the Ecto Glow ones. You know, the last set of figures that they came out with that like basically only exist mint on card for a fortune apiece.
I never had those.
Nobody did. The only people that have them now are called, like, you know, collectors. And I don't think you can find loose versions of them anywhere.
Well, yeah. I think we'll get Fright features. If the line keeps going, I think that's the next thing we're going to see is you know, the Fright features, and I did have those.
Yeah, we all have. Fright features sucked.
They were the easiest ones to find because everybody wanted just the regular Ghostbusters, you know, and those are like wave 1, I think. So. Yep,
yeah, the regular Ghostbusters were wave 1, and then Fright features is basically wave 2. So yeah, I mean, you can still find those at flea markets for pennies on the dollar.
The Janine with the spinning like upper torso.
Yeah, absolutely dreadful. But it was the first time you could get a Janine action figure.
Yeah.
I think the first Janine was the pink outfit one.
Where her hair went up like that. Yeah, her bangs went like I had that one too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. Man, I wish I had those still. It
Is it
kills me
pricey?
because like all my Ghostbuster stuff, I don't know what happened to it. I know my mom didn't sell it, so but I don't know where it is. Every time I go home, I'm like, okay, this time I'm gonna find those figures. I send my dad into the attic. Dad, go look for them. And I can't go into the attic because, or I shouldn't. Nobody should go into the attic, right? Not in certain attics. Not in my parents' attic anyway, because
Why? What's wrong with your parents' attic?
it's haunted. No, it's not haunted. It's not a proper attic. It's like there's no floor in there. It's just like the 2x4s or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So if you make a wrong step, you're gonna go
coming to the floor. Yep.
exactly. And my parents is the top of it is like 20 feet off the ground in the the ceiling in some parts. So
Oh.
yeah, you're gonna fall pretty far. But yeah, so they use it for storage, and they have for a long time. And I assume that they're in there somewhere. But every time I send my dad in, thank him for going up there, he doesn't find them. And then so it's like I don't know where they're at. My mom has like a storage shed too, and I've looked in there, and yeah, I don't know where they're at. I assume they have them, but I could be wrong. They could be in some landfill like where they've been for 20 years. I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean, if you want the Fright Features ones, you don't got to wait for Hasbro to re-release them. You can get those loose for a couple bucks a pop.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't as big a fan of those ones. I was always the original Ghostbusters. And then I liked the big sludge slime ones. You remember they came in boxes of like Sludge Bucket and like Gooper Ghost or something like that? Something about those ones I really, really liked.
Yeah, those are fun. I think my favorites though were like the Universal monster style ones. Like the Dracula and the Frankenstein, and it was a Wolfman. I don't know if I ever had the Wolfman. There was a Mummy. I had the Mummy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are really clever.
Those are neat. I know I had those, and gosh, they just made so many. There was like a ripcord, like purple ripcord ghost where you'd pull it and it makes sparks and he'd go like that. And there were these little there was like this pink thing where you like pop it like that and the little thing would pop out of its mouth. Like I had those, and I had a lot of the Playroll stuff like the proton pack, and
They were amazingly fun toys. Absolutely
Sure.
amazingly fun toys. Even though it's sort of odd that they never made ghosts of any of the recurring characters from the show, which I would still love. But the just as toys, just a bunch of weird alien-looking ghost goblin things. It's like, great.
They never made Boogeyman though.
No, they never made Boogeyman. They never made Samhain, and they never made the Sandman. And I wish they would make those.
Maybe they will. Maybe it'll be like the Retro Collection Tarkin, where
That would be
awesome.
That's what I'm hoping. But
Yeah. So I hope this line continues to do well. Obviously, it's got a second wave now, so they probably did pretty well.
Hey, it's fun. Like when I go randomly to a Walmart now, I can find the first wave. It took a year, but there they all are now. I bought a second set of carded ones just because I could go into a Walmart and buy them. I was like,
nice.
I can actually walk into the store and buy it. Heck with it. I'll buy more.
They're still carrying that wave from last year, and initially upon release they weren't easy to get, but now like for a while now, you can find them. So it's cool. It's cool finding toys in a store. Imagine that. I just hope they do the trap because I know I probably told you this before. I remember I had the original trap. It glowed in the dark.
Yeah.
Is glue's not a word, right? No.
Well, it means something different.
Yeah,
Glowed
glowed in the dark. They glowed in the dark. And I remember my grandmother took us to a doctor's office where she had an appointment, and we were just sitting in the kids area playing, and some man walked by and he stepped on my ghost trap and broke the handle. And he didn't
shoot!
He just acted like nothing happened. He didn't apologize. He didn't turn around. So I was pissed. Tom, and I was a little kid, but I was pissed. And bring it back, Hasbro. We want to see that ghost trap again, and the proton pack and all that stuff. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they've got the ghost popper now. But
which is okay.
It stunk. We could admit it. It was a cheap version of what we really wanted, which was the proton pack. But they have there's a new trap that's coming out for little sort of release with the new movie whenever that comes out. I have no idea when that comes out now. But but I saw it at Toy Fair that, back in 2019. It's I'd argue it's close enough for what you're looking for. Like if you probably just put it in front of you, you probably wouldn't be able to tell what the difference is. Or I certainly wouldn't. But then again, I can't tell the differences between stormtroopers. So.
Hey, a stormtrooper is a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
But anyway, to migrate this back to Star Wars, should this Lucasfilm 50th anniversary line continue? Should it continue and they continue doing more things? They've done Episode 1 through Best Buy. They're doing Clone Wars through Target. If this continues and we see another maybe exclusive to like Walmart or wherever, what would you like to see come back in terms of previous line looks? Like, we've had tons of line looks over the last 2 decades. What do you think would look good in that 6-inch format?
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
The Revenge of the Sith line look. And you could just put Obi-Wan out with his, updated head. Put Anakin back out because, apparently like even the archive one of him is tough to get a hold of, which, surprises me. But yeah, just put those two guys back out. And if you want to be really cool and give us a third figure, give us, Senate dual Darth Sidious. I've made my custom of him, which is perfectly fine and looks great on the shelf. But come on, Hasbro, give me an official one. You can re-release Grievous on that card, and that kind of card art. 501st clone. I mean, I think an incredibly boring look was the Saga collection look, the one that kind of just blue for Attack of the Clones.
Oh, Saga, yeah.
Yeah, but I think it would be cool to have, Count Dooku come back out on that look as well.
Yeah, that's actually the first one that comes to mind too, is Revenge of the Sith. I mean, that packaging was really cool. I still say that movie had the absolute best like Star Wars toy line, like of any of the movies. Like just it was all contained to Revenge of the Sith. It wasn't like integrating other films, and they were fun. You had like improving articulation, but you still had action features that were like integrated. There weren't buttons, there weren't magnets, there wasn't anything like gimmicky. It was just like the figures looked solid. If you had them on a shelf, you wouldn't know that they had action features. The thing that I'm starting to think too, though, is if they did bring that back, I think it would look cool. But they just did Clone Wars. They've done Episode 1. I don't know that they would go prequels again.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing classic Star Wars stuff from the original trilogy, you've got to put it out on the vintage collection style card back. Anything else, flush it.
Yeah, that's what they're doing through Amazon is the vintage style card backs.
Yeah, those are the most popular ones, clearly. The ones that all the gift-giving parents and children swipe off the shelves.
Well, maybe these work though for prequel and Clone Wars figures, because I mean they're not doing a ton of those in the main line, for Black Series. So maybe that's part. Maybe if they did, they would bring Revenge of the Sith back for that reason, and then they could do the 501st Trooper, bring Anakin back, regular Anakin later in the year. Maybe they could do a Sith Eyes version for that.
Yeah, release. I mean, yeah, you could give us, you could just give us the one head for Anakin and just call him Darth Vader. Maybe it'd be cool and give us a cloak. I got a third-party cloak, which is fantastic, but that Anakin.
We need those cloaks, and the Mace Windu figure has a cloak, and it looks so good on Anakin or on Obi-Wan from Attack of the Clones. So I just wish they all had cloaks because I don't want to buy a bunch of Mace Windus for the cloak. So Revenge of the Sith would be cool. 30th anniversary would be another neat line look to bring back. I thought that was
the 30th anniversary line was neat looking. Yeah,
it was neat because it was like modern without trying to be retro at all. It was just like its own, like it was trying to bring things up to, at that point, 2007. It was very angular, and I thought it looked really sleek, really, really cool.
Yeah,
we'll see. It sounds like they have more things planned for this Lucasfilm 50th commemorative series, whatever you want to call it, and we'll see what they announce, and hopefully it's stuff that's easier to get than these Legacy or these Clone Wars figures. And hopefully it's not something that I'm like, I need doubles of this because the packaging just looks really fun, like these Clone Wars figures, which I had to do. But we'll see. We'll see.
I definitely want a second one of these Clone Wars ones to keep in package.
That's another thing you could do. You could just go onesies on each of the different. You could do one episode one. You could do.
Yeah, I've got a carded 40th anniversary or whatever it was Vader, and the Phantom Menace Darth Maul. So I'm gunning for. I think I'd like it to be Echo, but we'll see who I'm able to get to keep on the Clone Wars card.
Yeah, for sure. For episode 1, I did have Maul and Obi-Wan, but I wanted to get at least one of the Best Buy ones because the packaging is a little bit different. So I got Qui-Gon because just felt like, okay, I need those 3. I don't need the other ones carded. That's just too many. And I have been buying all the Amazon ones, the retro paint ones. Because I feel like that's kind of a thing where I need to do that, but like anything else, not really. So far, I do have I did order. I don't have them yet, but I did order the Legacy or the Clone Wars box. I don't know if I'm going to keep them. I may or may not, but yeah.
The Clone Wars what?
The Target ones.
Oh yeah. Huh?
Yeah, the Clone Wars. So yeah, no, but yeah, that's totally something you could do, and I'd probably be pretty happy just doing that if I had the strength to do that. I know what I need to do, Tom, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
That's right. Toss that lightsaber into the ocean.
Yeah.
Or into Harrison Ford's belly.
Yep. Anyway, well, Tom, it's been fun as always. Where can our listeners go to find you online?
You can't. I'm a ghost. I'm like the Bourne Identity online. You certainly can't find me at Woozlin Demon on Twitter. Complaining about something or other because I'm grumpy. I'm a grumpy Gus.
That's not a bad thing necessarily.
See, if you do follow me on Twitter and you see me grumping about something, and you watch how I talk here, this is generally where the actual grump is coming from. It's like, well, you don't like that thing.
Go watch Clone Wars, Tom. Go watch Clone Wars.
That's so
Take
good.
The edge off.
And Bad Batch is delightful too. I'm loving it.
Bad Batch is fun too. Yeah, I'm liking it too.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Good talking to you. And, I know we'll do this again before long.
All right, cool. Cheers, Vic.
All right, cheers. And that's a wrap for this episode. Victoria's Cantina began on YouTube, and you can find plenty of toy content on the Victoria's Cantina YouTube channel. We are also on Instagram, showcasing toy photography at Victoria's Cantina, as well as Facebook at Victoria's Cantina, and on Twitter, ranting and raving about toys and other nonsense at Vic's Cantina. For fun and random toy clips, follow us on TikTok at Victoria's Cantina. Got a question or something you'd like to share with us? Drop us a line in the fax machine. You can email victoriascantina@yahoo.com. If you are so inclined and wish to drop a coin in the tip jar, we are on Patreon, where you can gain greater access to the channel while helping to keep the content rolling. For VC branded merchandise such as t-shirts, ball caps, mugs, and other fun stuff, visit us on Teespring and TeePublic. Links to all of these magical places can be found in the show notes. Do you got a minute or two? If you are listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a 5-star rating and drop a brief review explaining why you enjoy the show. As always, I'm Victoria, and no matter where you're listening out in the galaxy, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to the Cantina Chatter podcast.